Have you ever noticed how the most powerful people in any room are usually the quietest? They're not the ones shouting to be heard. They're not explaining themselves. They just sit there, calm, composed, unreadable, and somehow everyone else adjusts around them. That's not an accident. That's the psychology of silence. And once you understand it, you'll realize silence isn't weakness. It's one of the strongest weapons you'll ever have. Because in a world that's addicted to noise, those who can stay silent control the room. Think about it. Everyone's talking these days. People post every thought, every move, every opinion online. But the truth, the more you talk, the more predictable you become. And the more predictable you are, the less power you have. Silence creates mystery, and mystery creates influence. When you stop explaining yourself, when you stop reacting to everything, people start wondering what's going on inside your mind. They start to respect your space because they can't read your next move. That's psychological dominance, not through aggression, but through control. Here's something most people never realize. Silence is a form of communication. It says, I don't need to prove anything. It says, I'm in control of myself. And that energy, it's magnetic. Let's break down why silence is so powerful and how you can use it to completely shift the way people see you, treat you, and respond to you. Silence builds respect because it shows restraint. When you're silent in moments when others would explode, you send a silent message, I'm not reactive. Imagine someone insults you in front of others. Most people would fight back instantly, defend themselves, argue. But you stay quiet, you hold eye contact, you just observe. That silence does something powerful. It makes the other person uncomfortable. Because silence forces people to confront themselves. They expect chaos, but instead they face calmness. That calmness is power. In psychology, restraint signals dominance. It says you're emotionally stable, you're not easily manipulated. And that's why people who can stay silent under pressure earn respect without saying a single word. 2. Silence creates mystery. And mystery draws attention. We're naturally drawn to what we can't fully understand. If someone's always loud, always sharing, we think we know everything about them. But when someone is unpredictable, quiet, observing, hard to read, we pay attention. Think of the most captivating leaders, thinkers, or even movie characters. They're not the ones always talking, they're the ones who speak less, but when they do, every word hits deep. Silence gives weight to your words. If you're always talking, your words lose value. But if you speak only when it matters, people listen. 3. Silence gives you control because it slows everything down. When you're silent, you're thinking, you're analyzing, you're watching patterns others miss. Most arguments get worse because both sides keep reacting, but the one who stays quiet is the one who stays in control. You observe the situation, you measure your response, you wait for the right moment. It's like chess. Silence is your strategy time. While others rush their moves, you're planning your victory. So the next time someone tries to provoke you or drag you into chaos, pause. Don't give them your energy instantly, because silence buys you clarity, and clarity gives you control. 4. Silence protects your energy. Every word you speak takes mental and emotional energy. Arguing, explaining, defending yourself, it drains you. But when you stay silent, you conserve that power. You're not wasting energy convincing people who already made up their minds. You're not trying to prove your worth. You know it. People who constantly talk are often insecure. They fill the air because they fear what happens in the quiet. But when you're comfortable in silence, it means you've made peace with yourself. You no longer need external validation. And that's the foundation of true confidence. 4. Silence protects your energy. Every word you speak takes mental and emotional energy. Arguing, explaining, defending yourself, it drains you. But when you stay silent, you conserve that power. You're not wasting energy convincing people who already made up their minds. You're not trying to prove your worth. You know it. People who constantly talk are often insecure. They fill the air because they fear what happens in the quiet. But when you're comfortable in silence, it means you've made peace with yourself. You no longer need external validation, and that's the foundation of true confidence. 5. Silence makes people reveal themselves. This is one of the most underrated psychological truths. When you stop talking, others start filling the space. They reveal things, their emotions, their intentions, even their lies, all because they can't handle the silence. In negotiations, in arguments, in relationships, silence is your truth detector. Because when you say nothing, people feel compelled to explain themselves, and that's when their real motives slip out. So if you ever want to know someone's character, don't talk, just listen. Silence makes the truth surface. Here's the paradox. Silence may seem passive, but it's actually an active choice. You're not just doing nothing. You're doing something powerful. You re-choosing where to invest your energy and who deserves your words. When you master silence, you stop being controlled by emotions. You start controlling outcomes. 6. Silence gives your words meaning. If you're always talking, your voice becomes background noise. But when you rarely speak, your words carry impact. Think about people you truly respect, maybe a teacher, mentor, or leader. When they finally speak, everyone leans in. That's not magic. That's silence doing its job. The less you speak, the more valuable your speech becomes. And when you finally say something, it cuts deep, it lands harder, and people remember it. When you start practicing silence, at first it feels strange. You'll notice people talking over you. You'll feel the urge to explain yourself. But the moment you stop, you'll also notice something else. People start watching you differently. They start guessing what you're thinking. They adjust their tone, their behavior, because your silence changes the dynamic. And that's when you realize you never needed to shout to be heard. You just needed to master the power of quiet confidence. You see, silence isn't about avoiding life. It's about mastering it. 7. Silence is the foundation of emotional intelligence. Think about the last time you regretted saying something. Maybe you reacted too fast, said words that didn't reflect who you really are. That happens when emotion moves faster than awareness. But silence creates space between feeling and reacting. That small pause, that quiet second, can save your relationships, your reputation, and your peace of mind. Emotionally intelligent people know this. They don't rush to reply. They pause. They breathe. They let silence do the heavy lifting. Then they speak from clarity, not chaos. Every time you pause before reacting, you're training your emotional control. And emotional control, that's what separates leaders from followers. 8. Silence makes you unpredictable. Predictability kills power. If people know exactly how you'll react, they can control you. But when you become silent, unreadable, calm, patient, you become unpredictable. Nobody knows what you'll do next. They start second-guessing, adjusting their behavior. That's influence. You're no longer playing their game. They're playing yours. You're no longer reacting to energy. You're shaping it. And that unpredictability doesn't come from manipulation. It comes from mastery. When you're silent, you stop giving away your emotional roadmap, and that makes you untouchable. 9. Silence attracts peace because it repels drama. Loud people attract loud problems. When you argue with everyone, explain yourself to everyone, fight for validation, your life becomes noise. But when you choose silence, that noise fades. People who love chaos will drift away because they can't feed off your calm, and those who value peace will move closer. That's how silence quietly filters your environment. You stop chasing approval and start attracting alignment. Peace doesn't come from having no problems. It comes from not reacting to every one of them. And silence is how you practice that peace in real time. 10. Silence makes you look and feel powerful. Watch anyone truly confident. They walk slower, they listen more, they speak less. Why? Because they're not trying to convince anyone. They're just being. That's what real power looks like, control over yourself. And it's visible. It shows in your eyes, your posture, your tone. When you speak from silence, your words cut through the noise like a blade. And when you don't speak, your presence still commands the room. That's the energy of someone who's mastered silence. You can't fake it. You have to become it. Here's the thing most people miss. Silence isn't about never speaking. It's about speaking with purpose. There's a time to speak your truth. And when that moment comes, your silence has already done half the work. People listen differently. They feel your confidence. They sense that your words cost something. And that's what makes them powerful. So what's the takeaway? Silence isn't absence. It's presence. It's knowing when not to react. It's protecting your peace when others lose theirs. It's understanding that not everything deserves your voice. Some things deserve your stillness. When you stop giving your energy to noise, you start hearing your own clarity. When you stop explaining yourself to everyone, you start attracting those who already understand. And when you stop reacting, you start directing your life. That's the shift. That's where quiet becomes strength. And maybe, just maybe, silence isn't the opposite of power. Maybe silence is power, because anyone can talk, but it takes discipline to hold your tongue. It takes confidence to not explain. It takes wisdom to know that silence speaks volumes, even when you don't say a word. So the next time you're tempted to prove a point, defend yourself, or react out of emotion, stop. Pause. Let silence step in for you, because silence never loses an argument. It only reveals the truth. If this message hits something deep inside you, good. That means you're ready to level up how you move, how you think, how you respond. So here's your challenge. For the next 24 hours, speak less, observe more. Don't explain. Don't react. Just watch how the world shifts when you stop feeding the noise. And when you see it, when you feel that power, you'll never go back. Because silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. If this video gave you perspective, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below. I choose silence. And remember, those who control their words control their world. Stay focused, stay silent, and stay powerful. See you in the next one.